Today, I will meet the world with both feet firmly planted and my heart wide open. I will feel the strength of my foundation, a reminder that I am supported, connected, and part of something larger. Within this sense of steadiness, I allow my heart to soften, not forced, just a gentle loosening, enough for light to get in, enough for wonder to breathe. I will let curiosity be my compass. What's ahead is not something to control or to manipulate, but rather it's simply something to explore. Every interaction, every moment, an opportunity to learn, to be surprised, to expand. When my mind rushes ahead or fear narrows my view, I will remind myself to return to that rooted strength. From the ground up, I have room to rise. From the heart out, I have space to expand. May I move through today anchored in myself, yet open to the beauty and possibility that comes when I meet life with a curious, open, receiving heart. Well, hello, friends. Here we are. Another episode of the deMysticism podcast. These are my sacred conversations around radical self-love. And today I had an idea to talk about the symbolism of wind, the spiritual meanings of wind as an element. And of course, because this is how things go, I record these in my master closet. That's my podcast studio. I'm sitting now in my master bedroom looking out the windows at a crazy dust storm here in Arizona and some blustering wind and thunder and rain. And I thought, what better timing for recording a conversation talking about the symbolism of wind and what that means in our lives. So why wind? Why is this an element that I'm looking to explore? So a little backstory. I am part of a Dreamweavers mandala. This is an organization that has existed for quite some time. It's something I've been part of for a few weeks now. Not here to necessarily give a sales pitch on that, but it is a beautiful group. Generally, these are collectives, I guess I will call it, of women. There are some in this Dreamweavers group that would create a co-ed mandala, but generally it is about celebrating sisterhood, coming together, creating sacred economies, really supporting each other in manifesting your dreams. And you start out in the element of fire, you move into wind, and then earth, and then water. So there is some beautiful tracks that you go through as you move through these different elements. And I personally, where I'm at in this journey, about to step into the element of wind. And it has me really evaluating my relationship to wind in the literal sense. And then what does the wind want to say to me? What does the wind want to tell us? And when we listen, what do we hear? What does it mean? So as the wind is literally just fiercely blowing, and there was some storms last night. I live in the Phoenix area. Monsoon season is a thing. And this morning I went to a class at one of my yoga studios and had noticed all these trees were many trees were down in the parking lot, trees that have clearly been there for a little while, literally torn up by their roots. And that got me to thinking about, when the storms come, when the blustery winds blow, winds are often ushering in change, growth, expansion, right? But if our roots are not firmly planted, if we don't have our solid foundation, we can often get thrown off kilter. So the other thing that's really interesting to me in my relationship with wind, I have tended previously, I'm I think in this moment, embracing a new relationship here, but I've generally really kind of hated wind. I don't like the city of San Francisco. Every time I go there, I feel like I'm going to blow away and I get frustrated. I don't like when wind, you know, throws my hair all around and hair gets in my mouth and my eyes. And I mean, I'm not that vain, but also I don't like when my hair looks crazy in the wind. I kind of hate fans blowing directly on me. It's not a sensation that I enjoy. I get really annoyed when you walk into a store and they have those blowy things at the door that kind of pelt you at the top of the head. These are all just like first world problems, but I really get complainy, or at least I have in the past, about wind. And as I am about to enter into this element and recognizing some of this discomfort I have with it as it relates to the particular tasks that you will work through when you're in the element of wind in this group. I mean, it is all for the expansion of the group, the expansion of self, and the deep exploration that moving through the elements brings. And now I'm looking at why have I been so like annoyed by wind? Part of what it means to be in the wind element within the Dreamweaver circle is you are blowing, you're using your voice, you are sharing messages. And it occurred to me, I'm not afraid to use my voice, yet sometimes I'm afraid to blow my own horn and, kind of, I'm afraid to be braggy. I'm afraid to, I don't know what. Like again, this is real time learning I am doing and sharing with whoever happens to be listening. But why do I resist that? Why do I resist showing up? And what's so bad about sharing your gifts, about telling people when you have a gift? And as I sit with this, I realize I don't have a problem with, sound healing is one of the things that I do, one of my gifts that I give out into the world. And I deeply, truly, wholeheartedly believe in the power of soul-led sound healing to help others. So I have no problem shouting from the rooftops about how great that is. I'm wondering now if in the areas where I might feel a little shy, where I might feel a little held back, it's really just about me having to step into the confidence of my craft. Or if I am having trouble promoting something, perhaps I need to check in with how much do I truly believe in this thing. So these are some messages that the wind has been kind of providing to me over the past week or so. And I gotta say, I just absolutely love that I am literally recording this in the midst of a windstorm. I don't know if any of it is being picked up in the microphone. I think it would be lovely if it is, but also probably annoying to listen to. So hopefully it's not. I'm listening back and it sounds fine in my monitoring. However, diving a little deeper into that, and what does wind mean to you? What does wind want to tell you? How can you listen to the unique messages that the wind has for you? And I'm going to kind of sit on that for a second because, I really truly do not script these episodes. I tend to just let myself ramble and see where it goes. And I'm thinking in this moment about what wind wants to tell me. A lot of it has to do with softening and being a little more pliable, right? There's huge palm trees that I can see from my backyard, and I'm watching those trees with their huge long trunks, and they're like way up there, right? But they bend in the wind, and then they come back, and then they sway, and they come back, and they don't break. Of course, some trees do. Yeah, I'm guaranteeing when I go out into the world after this storm, I'm going to see down trees. And I always find that to be like somewhat heartbreaking, but also just fascinating when trees lift out of the ground, trees that have been there for hundreds of years, and then their roots literally come out. And maybe sometimes that's because our roots don't always serve us best. Sometimes we need to let the roots go. Sometimes we need to reroot ourselves to find a new foundation, to create a new story around our own roots, whether that be your family, your community, your ancestral line. There's stuff that we carry with us in all of that, and there's stuff that maybe we don't need to carry. Maybe it is time for us to allow for some of the roots to almost be pulled up, and some of those roots will stay, the ones that are solid, the ones that are really holding us to our truth. So if we think of this in metaphor, and you get quiet and you let the wind whisper to you, what is it telling you about your roots? What is it telling you about what you might be clinging to so hard because you think you're supposed to, or because somebody told you that's how it should be? Maybe there's something that you could free yourself from there. Certainly there's elements within me that are shaping my life experience, and I am deep in the art of rewiring that, specifically very intentionally working on my relationship with money and prosperity and abundance, and how do I live my life from a place of pure joy, pure love, putting the work that I know I'm here to do out into the world and trusting that the resources are going to come back in return. There is some deep, deep, deep rewiring that has to happen with that. We, all of us as a collective, have a lot of just crazy messaging, crazy attachments, crazy attitudes around the idea of money. And granted, all of ours are different. It is shaped by what your parents taught you, what you learned in school, what you've seen in your society, what you've been surrounded by. But we all have programs around creating our abundance, our prosperity, around what money means. And we have a lot attached to the stories that we tell around money, or how we look at people with money, or we judge what people do with their money. We judge how people get their money. There's all this stuff to unravel there. And if we bring it back to the idea of roots and wind, and, not to be discounted, this metaphorical, moving through the elements that I'm talking about as it relates to this particular group, we start in fire and we burn out our fears, and we start by burning out the limiting beliefs. And that's an ongoing process that never stops. But then you move into wind, and the wind starts fueling the fire and asking you to look deeper, to really see where, you might have burned some things out. Now maybe you need to still blow away the ashes. Maybe that fire lit up again, and there's a new fear, a new layer underneath the first one that you burned away. And we just keep digging, and we just keep releasing, and we keep allowing the wind to blow. We keep allowing the energy to move and to flow. And we have to evaluate, where are our strong roots? Where are the roots that are a little bit rotted, that really aren't serving us so well? And maybe we allow them to continue to release, to continue to dissolve. So what are those roots for you? What do you need to be willing, maybe just open to considering letting go of? It's not easy to unravel that stuff. It's not even always easy to see it or to understand it. But my invitation to you for this week is to listen to the wind. So if you happen to also live in Arizona, you'll have many opportunities, because we are in monsoon season and these winds will come. But I don't know that it matters wherever you are in the world. The wind blows everywhere. Sometimes it blows a gentle breeze, it's just a little whisper. And sometimes it's howling wind just begging you to listen, literally clearing things away. All the things in my backyard have blown all about. There's chairs that are not in their proper places, and that's okay. We'll return them. But as you reflect on your roots, on your fears, on your programs, and on your next steps, what do you need to root in a little bit deeper? What do you need to really hold steadfastly to? What are your truths? And what can you let go of? Ooh, there was big thunder right there. I don't know if that was heard, but that is beautiful. I'm going to leave it right there. So let the wind blow. Hold your roots strong and be willing to let go of the ones that maybe don't need to be there. The new roots will grow. That's always an opportunity to begin again. So thank you for listening. We will let that wind blow. Sending you all tons of love, and I will talk to you next week.